Hello everyone, and today we're going to be reviewing the M5 Stuart. This is going to be part of a new series called Quick Reviews, and the point of this series is pretty simple actually. It's just to give people who are going through low tier machines just the information they need, nothing more, nothing less. It's not like the E50 review that I did a couple of days ago that had a lot of information, a lot to digest in there. I mean, I think the video was 45 minutes, which is it's pretty long, and not an awful lot of people have time to watch those videos. I mean, we all have things to do, be it work or school or whatever it is. So that's the point of the series, to help people who are going through low tier machines get the information they need and get out. So the M5 is kind of the exception to because most low tiers kind of don't really take an awful lot of experience to go through, typically around about 13 to 18,000 maximum. The M5 Stuart though, it takes a lot of experience to get to the tier 5 chassis. I mean, we're talking 55,000 experience to get to a tier 5 machine. That's a lot of experience, and I suspect that'll be kind of changed in the 9.3 patch when the new American lights, which lead from the chassis, come out. I suspect it'll be reduced to somewhere around that 12 to 18,000 mark, maximum by 25, but I don't really expect it to get any higher than that. But the reason for doing the M5 Stuart is pretty simple. A lot of people are going to be going through this line, so they're going to need the information they need. Now the M5 Stuart will be getting changed in, I believe, it's either going to be 9.3 or a later patch, but it doesn't really matter. Most of the information is going to be relevant anyway, as I've already seen the new tank and I've seen its stats and stuff, and it gets like a 30mm autoloader, which is, it's okay. It's got like 40mm average penetration, which is kind of poor to be honest with you, but that's not the point. Most of the information in this video will help you going towards, even if you're grinding the new version of the M5 Stuart. The M5 Stuart is really good and fun in a tier 4 and 5 game. It is truly fun. You'll be seeing a tier 4 game today, because in tier 6 and 7, which is where the M5 Stuart can see up to, its playstyle difference a lot. In a high tier game, it goes to being basically a passive scout, and that's the reason why I have this equipment loadout set up here. But don't ask me why you can take fence on an open top machine, because that makes loads of sense. But pretty much that'll be getting changed anyway, because it'll be getting its proper historical turret, which was closed. So, and also this howitzer will be getting removed. So basically, the M5 Stuart is a good fun machine, tier 4 and 5. Tier 6 and 7, it's a passive scout, and you should never ever play anything other than a passive scout. If you get spotted, you probably will die. If you try and take shots, you probably will die. It doesn't have an awful lot of hit points, especially not at that tier. You can get one-shotted by quite a few tanks at that tier, and also due to the fact that it has no armor as well. I mean, there's got a little bit of slab of spaced armor over the mantlet here, but that really won't matter in whenever this tank gets changed, because it won't really have that slab of spaced armor. So you can take a rod around here, but not much. So with my crew, I've went with pure camo, and the reason for that is because the M5 Stuart, I mean, it's a light tank obviously, but it actually has a decent camo rating. So I'm basically taking advantage of that and exploiting that. It's a bonus on the tank. It's actually got decent fleet range as well. I mean, 370 without any bonuses there, and 377 with, I believe, our commander bonus, and also 472 when the binos are up, which is very good. It's got a very good fuel range, and that's why it does a very good role of a passive scout in high tier games. So, what do you need to know, right? Well, for this, I'm not really going to talk about the grind, is because these all cost. I mean, you'll have this coming from the M3 Stuart, but these are all really cheap components, and upgrades to buy. You really not an awful lot of research. The only thing that'll cost you expensive amount is a radio, but that'll do you through the entire line, and pretty much all the American tanks. Up to about, I believe, tier 8 or so. Yes. No, tier 7, sorry. Tier 7, they'll do, actually, yeah, no, there's tier 8 machines there as well. It'll do up to tier 8. But basically, the grind's not really much of a problem. The main problem with the grind is actually getting to the chassis. It takes a lot of experience, as I mentioned. So it takes a long time. You're going to be playing the M5 a lot. And I've been playing a lot on the weekend special there, where it was double experience for for every win. So I've got an extra like 10,000 experience by doing that. But the tank's okay. So what do you need to know about the the equipment setup and stuff? Well, I went with binos, camo net, and fence. Again, I don't know, ask me why I can have fence, it's open top. But anyway, let's just ignore that for now. I've set up as a passive scout, and the reason for that is pretty simple. Because you don't really want to have it set up for a very a very aggressive scout for low tier games. Whenever you stand a good chance of getting high tier games, I always try and set up tanks for what I can be most flexible with, and this is the best setup for that. I work out with 30 heat rounds. No, it's not 30 heat rounds. 30 HE rounds, and 10 heat. The heat's not very good though. It only has an average of 91 penetration, which really isn't very good, but it should be enough to pen the most tier 6 or 7, the back of most of those machines. A few exceptions, of course, but overall you should do fine with that. The HE's okay. I think it's like 30. Is it 30? Yeah, 38 average penetration on the HE. It's not great, but it should be enough to take out low tier machines. I obviously went small repair kit. I went with, which is pretty unique to me, because as you can see it's only on one vehicle. I went with 100 octane gasoline, and the reason for that is because just to try and gain the most acceleration and stuff, and obviously improves turret to first as well, and obviously small health kit for in case any crew members die, because this has a lot of crew for such a small tank. But let's get to the gameplay now, because I think I pretty much talked about everything that needs to be talked about the M5 Stuart. Back in a second, guys. Hello everyone, and we're back. So, as was mentioned before, this is a tier 4 game, and the reason why I'm showing you a tier 4 game, not just make me look like some god, freaking World of Tanks player, but the simple fact is no one really wants to sit and watch, a high tier scout game in a tier 4 light. It's not really the most entertaining thing, watching someone sit in a bush the entire game, because that's often what it entails. So we're going to be checking out this low tier game. And, oh god, I'll need to turn the sound down. That's way too loud. So, the M5 Stuart, I'm pretty much going to take to the typical sort of scouting spot on this map, at least initially anyway. And that will be a hell of a lot quiet now. So I'm going to go here. You always want to poke this ridge in a light tank on this map. No matter what light tank you're in, you really want to poke that ridge to get your teammates early intel on where the enemy's going and such. So we're basically just going to go over there. I'm probably going to have to leave this in the third person view, because as was mentioned, this is a 9.1 replay, so it's a little bit glitchy whenever I aim in to actually shoot. So you won't see a gun. It'll just be like almost looking through. It's weird as hell. You'll see it. I'll show you. So yeah, this is sort of the typical scouting spot I always like to take. I always like to go and poke this ridge at the start of the game. Even if your teammates aren't coming over here, you can easily make it back out without getting any rounds taken. And the reason I'm just doing this here is getting early intel. You see we spot a couple of tanks there. We get early intel for our team. We get them the information they need, and these guys are being way too aggressive, and you can see that glitchy crap right there, because it's a 9.1 replay. So I'm pretty much just gonna have to leave it in third person and move the camera around for you guys. As you can see, the accuracy of this gun is not great, but boy, does whenever you hit a low tier lightly armored machine, does it hit good. Look at that, guys. When it hits, it's fantastic. You do serious amounts of damage to the low tier machines. We're only in the game, like a minute or so, and we're already on 2 kills, It's a very dangerous tank to go up against in low tier games. Our team is just absolutely tearing the enemy team apart right now. So we're just going to go around here. I'm being a little bit aggressive, but I know I can be aggressive in such a low tier game. See, we penetrate the side of a Lucas there. 181 average damage, roll there. That is really dangerous to any low tier 4 machine. We didn't penetrate that round, only do 56. We got penetrated there. Been a little bit too aggressive right now. Not really much need to be aggressive. You do really want to fully aim this machine though, because the accuracy is so bad. You really do. You're never really going to be able to hit any long range targets. And see our Marauder 38T, 30T gets killed there. He was way too aggressive. He should never poke that ridge, and I actually told him to fall back, but it was too late. So to see the Chi Ho is coming around here, and I'm getting pretty distracted right now trying to shoot that Carpenter. Never really going to be able to shoot him. He's just way too much. He's way too hull down basically, and he's in too much good cover. And I don't even know what I'm doing at this stage. I think actually I'm trying to hit him. Yeah, this is because it's a 9.1 replay. It's really glitchy as hell. It doesn't show what is actually going on most of the time. I'm just going to leave it in this view because I know it looks all glitchy, but it sort of gives you an idea about what I'm doing. And we never actually pinned the Marauder there. That was pretty unlucky. He has pretty much no armor. But this is how typical low tier games go in this machine. You know, they're very... You can't afford to be a little bit aggressive like this, but you just want to be careful about how you go about it. See, we're loading some heat right now, and the heat is more than enough to penetrate his armor, that's for sure. We're loading back HE right now. So we're sitting on 3 kills, 700 damage. That's pretty respectable for a tier 4 game so far. You see we're just going round here to help this M3 out. Oh, we actually penetrate the side of that Marauder for 186 damage right there. We killed the SU-85B. God, this 75mm is really fun when you get shots like that. It truly is. Just one-shotting like tanks like that is just really fun. And so we're loading some heat rounds back again to do this Coventer. So we penetrate his side there. Penetrate his side again. And we are just aiming first turn. We penetrate it straight away. So that's the M5 Stuart, guys. This sort of gives you, hopefully it gives you enough representation about how you should play the tank in a low tier game. In a high tier game, I was mentioned, you want to play passively. You really do. Passive as all hell. Get in a bush. There's lots of good spotting bushes on most maps and good spots for your spotting. And you want to get in those bushes and really take advantage of that, because the M5 Stuart in those games is never going to be capable of actually winning. You're winning the game for your team without spotting the enemy team. Although I do have one game where I actually do that. The problem is I never saved the replay, and it's probably in the replay folder somewhere, but there's thousands of games in there, so it's going to take me a while to sort through. And I really can't be arsed. So thank you for watching, guys. It's been fun making these videos as always. I hope you subscribe, comment, and like the video if you want. Of course, you're not forced to. And thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.